Hey guys, and welcome to another episode here on YouTube, where today Paul Perillo, myself, Mike Dussault will be featuring the quarterbacks in this year's NFL draft. And Paul, we know quarterback, huge long-term question for the Patriots. What do you see out of this class? It seems a little top-heavy.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I think it's pretty good. I think it's a pretty deep class. But the question that, I guess we all have here is, can the Patriots get in position to get one of the top ones? And let's take Trevor Lawrence and put him to the side for a second. We all agree, and we'll give him to Jacksonville and concentrate on the other four. It's Zach Wilson from BYU, and then Trey Lance and Justin Fields from North Dakota State and Ohio State. And the last guy that sort of crept into this conversation, Mike, is Mac Jones from Alabama. If you asked me about 3 weeks ago, I would have said, well, he's a second-round pick. And now a lot of people think he is the target for San Francisco moving up to number 3. So a lot of different opinions on these guys.
Justin Fields, I think, is a guy that's a little bit undervalued right now. You're getting some kind of reports about his work ethic, those kind of things. This is silly season for the draft where there's all kinds of misinformation. Don't believe what you hear. Trey Lance, a little bit unproven. I think he's kind of a little bit lower in that kind of echelon up there in the top 10. But yeah, no question, Mac Jones, certainly one of those risers that's kind of shooting up the board.
The top 3 picks, you can pretty much write them in. I don't know exactly which guy San Francisco is going to take, but it looks like Lawrence, Wilson to the Jets at 2 after trading Darnold, and then 3, San Francisco was going to take a quarterback, regardless of which one it is. Doesn't really matter. So that's 3 guys gone in 3 picks. It's a long way from 4 to 15 for the Patriots to hope that one guy out of those other 2 is still remaining, and it's a guy that they really like. I think that's a tall order. So I think if they want one of these guys, Mike, they have to move up.
Yeah, no question. It's amazing how quickly things change. I rember early in the draft process, we're looking at Mac Jones as, hey, he should be around at 15. He's, got some good decision-making, some good accuracy, things that, have been successful here in New England. And now it seems like he's not even going to make it past San Francisco. So as we get into that second tier, Paul, what do you think? Who do you like down there?
In terms of the day 2, day 3 guys, I think it's a group of 4. It's Kellen Mond, Jamie Newman, Davis Mills, and Kyle Trask. Kyle Trask is probably the highest rated of those 4 guys. I like Kellen Mond a little bit for his experience, for his athleticism. The decision-making at times can be a question. I think he's a little slow to diagnose, but playing in the SEC for 4 years, basically as A&M starter for 4 years, that's attractive to me in a secondary prospect. You're looking for a backup there, right? And then you're hoping to strike gold. You're hoping for a Russell Wilson, a third round pick that you think might be worth developing, and then all of a sudden he turns out to be much more than that. To me, that's Kellen Mond out of that group.
It's hard with these guys. You don't know if any of them are really are these bang the table type of guys, or these guys that you really believe in. It's a lot of them. It feels like they're going to need time. They're going to need to develop. They're going to need to improve decision making, speed things up. Which is unfortunate considering where the Patriots kind of sit at 15. But I'm with you on Mond. I think, you look at that experience, it's hard to get past that. But, Jamie Newman, he's another one, not too much different, I think, than Mond. It's certainly less experience, but, you look at those guys, they have the size, a little bit of mobility. Those are things, guy like Mac Jones, we were maybe talking about up at the first that he didn't have. So certainly some options down there.
Yeah. With Newman, I do think it's interesting to talk about him. I think he has the widest gap, probably maybe the highest ceiling of that group, but certainly the lowest floor too. I think he's really raw. I think he has a lot of ability. Played at Wake Forest for the most part. I know he transferred to Georgia, never got to play there because of COVID-19. He ended up not playing. But having to do so much at Wake Forest, you got to see some of the skills that he has, the athleticism that he has. I do think there's a high ceiling there if he actually puts it all together. But that's a project, So if you were asking me, take a swing for the fences, say in the 4th round, Newman would be my guy.
Well, Paul, plenty of intrigue. And as we know, the most important position on the team is quarterback. The Patriots have a huge long-term need there. All these things we've been talking about in the first round, I'm sure, I think we're kind of looking towards that second tier, but you never know. The Patriots, they could make a big jump. Certainly some opportunities have presented themselves here in the last couple of weeks of, hey, maybe they can trade with Carolina and get up into that top 10, but certainly going to be a lot of intrigue here on the draft weekend.